Hi, I'm Anna Scheller, and I am the host of Sales Mastery on the amazing Women of Power radio station. And I want to kind of give you a little preview of what we're going to be talking about on the show this week. One of the things that a lot of us struggle with is managing our time. We're so caught up in all of the things that we need to do for success that sometimes we actually forget that there are some really key points that we need to keep in mind in order for us to stay sane in our pursuit of making more money and becoming more successful. And next week I'm going to be having a very special guest. Her name is Tanya Dotson, and Tanya is my time management coach, and she helps me schedule and look at my schedule to know what is really important, but also making time for myself. And so some of the things that I'm going to be talking about tomorrow are things like making time for yourself through exercise and meditation. Exercise is important because of what it does for our brain. It sends oxygen to our brain, and that helps us to think more clearly. Because so many times when we're stuck, it's because we're not thinking clearly, or we're only thinking from one perspective, or maybe we've locked ourselves in the cycle of worry, actually the whirlpool of worry. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that tomorrow. Also, I talk about the importance of being gentle with yourself. Especially high-powered entrepreneurs like me or like you. We get to where maybe the money isn't rolling in like we hoped, or we're beginning to doubt ourselves. But the fact is that it takes time to change behavior. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to change ourselves. And the more focused we get on what we're not doing, the more we're going to be doing what we don't want to do. So what we really want to do is we want to understand that it takes time. It takes time for us to change. And when we don't make the changes that we think are necessary right away, it's okay. Because the kinder and more accepting you are of yourself as you're making changes in your routine, the more likely you are to succeed in your goals to make to adopt new habits. There we go. Now, the final thing that I want to share with you is I want you to think about making sure you have white space on your calendar. Many times, especially if we're behind in our goals, money's running low, or we just have big goals and we're just not where we want to be, it's very tempting to just pack our schedule one thing right after the other, appointments or phone calls or whatever it is. And the problem with that is that we're not giving ourselves room to breathe. We're actually our own worst enemy in that case. And what I have learned to do is I have learned to put white space in my calendar. It does a couple of things for me, and it can do a couple of things for you. One, if you have white space, what that does for you is in the event an appointment goes over time, you're not going to be rushed to get to the next place. Because when we rush, we're not going to be our best selves, right? The other thing it does is it allows room for creativity. If we're going to be creative, then in order to be creative, we need to have space where we're not cluttered with appointments and to-do lists and goals. I mean, the goals are good and they're important, but in order to achieve those goals, we do need that creative space. We need time to think. Keith Cunningham, the very famous Rich Dad of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book by Robert Kiyosaki, he believes in think time. He actually drove one of his businesses into the ground because he did not take time to think, among other things. And so that's what I want to leave you with today. I want to encourage you to join me tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, on the amazing Women of Power radio station. You will find the link here in this post. And join me because I have more tips, more ideas to help you better manage yourself, better manage your time so that you can become more successful in sales, but not just in sales, in life. Thank you so very much for joining me and watching the replay. I want to thank you for being with me on that. And everyone have a fabulous day.